You're joking, right? There's no way that somebody's saying that Monster Hunter Wild is too hard. I don't believe it. The joke writes themselves. I don't believe it, dude. I don't. Okay, I gotta hear this. I have to hear this.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, people genuinely believe that gaming...
I just started playing Monster Hunter Wilds, and this Monster's Health Bar mod might be my first one I install. Wondering why you can't see the monster's HP in Monster Hunter Wilds? Modders have fixed.
Are probably some of the biggest embarrassments in the gaming industry right now. The fact that these people, for the most part, never play.
Let me remind you, chat, these people review your games, okay? These people review your games, okay? These people review games, okay? These are so-called quote-unquote gamers.
Video games, and then when they do, they are constantly looking for ways to make it
Man,
easier,
dude, that's
crazy. Most of
crazy.
them don't even finish the games that they end up reviewing or end up playing.
Bro, I literally finished Monster Hunter Wild in 2 days. It was the most easiest fucking shit in my entire life.
Just play a couple of chapters, do some Google researching, end up doing a review for the game, and then they move on to the next one that they get a free review copy code. It's absolutely insane. Well, now we have an article showcasing just how pathetic they can actually get. We got PC Gamer over here, written by Stevie Bonifield, that says, I just started playing Monster Hunter Wilds, and this Monster Health Bar mod might be the first one that I install. This person is trying to convince all new players that they should install a mod that is inherently against what Monster Hunter is in the first place, because Monster Hunter doesn't have any health bars. Monster Hunter has a whole bunch of cues within the game to tell you when a monster is near death, but apparently that's just too hard, that's too difficult, and they are telling you to install a mod that shows a health bar.
I've never had to install that kind of mod in my Monster Hunter game. It said that nowadays games are made more for journalists than the players, and even then it ends up like this. That is very true, man. Like if I'm creating video games, I'm not creating video games for game journalists. I'm creating games for you guys, the gamers, your guys selves. I'm creating games for you guys specifically, you know? You guys are my fan bases. You guys are my audiences. I am wanting to listen to your guys' feedback, your guys' criticism. Where can we improve on what section, what here? I'll even watch YouTube videos on like criticism about, you know, our games themselves. You know, where should we improve on? What should we add? And, you know, all this other stuff. Because that's what an actual good developer should listen to, you know? That's crazy, though. That's crazy.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, all this does is showcase a disconnect between the gaming journalists and gamers, right? Gamers would absolutely destroy you if you talk about installing a health bar mod for Monster Hunter Wilds, and yet...
I will shit on you so hard if you install an HP mod or so. I'll install mods on my Monster Hunter games, but I will never install an HP mod for Monster Hunter because I will shit on you so hard, okay?
You have a journalist telling you how not only are they going to do that for themselves, but it's also something they would recommend all new players to do, because instead of learning...
Oh my god. Oh my god. For new players, dude? For new, you want to do, you're trying to fucking advocate health bars for new players? You must be out of your goddamn mind, to be honest. You must be out of your goddamn mind if this is supposed to be helpful for new. Yeah, let's just make the game even more dumbed down, shall we, you know?
how to play the game the right way and play the game the way that it was meant to be played, you rather tell them to install a mod so that they can see how much health a monster has instead of paying attention to cues and getting better at the game. If you were to pay attention to the game and pay attention to the monsters, you realize that you don't need a health bar. All the cues are there. It's supposed to teach you how to hunt and teach you how to be a
You know how us old players used to hunt monsters or so, or capture monsters, or we can tell when the monster is like pretty much almost dead? So basically in the old games, you have to visually look at the monster. Like this is like before they start limping, right? This is before they start limping. You have to visually look at the monster, look at the broken parts on the monster to see if they're actually like, if they're basically ready to be captured. Because the older games, they've never told you when they were ready to be capturable, okay? Let me remind you, I used to capture monsters, and that shit was pretty fucking difficult. It took me a lot of tries to capture monsters because I would sometimes accidentally kill them, okay? And I didn't want to do it because I was trying to learn how to capture these monsters and everything. And it's pretty much about it. That's how it really was back then.
Monster Hunter player, but by adding that health bar, you are going to cause issues for people who are trying to learn the game. So let's get into this article, guys, from PC Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Monster Hunter Wilds mods are already here, and I found the first one new players should install. A mod that adds a health bar for monsters, allowing you to see exactly how much damage you've dealt and how far you have left to go. Again, guys, if anybody's played Monster Hunter, you would realize that there's no need for a health
Why you need a health bar?
You
Just
even
slash it until it's
remotely pay
dead.
attention. If you
But dubstep is too hard for them. Dubstep is too hard for them. They have too much HP, man. The fight lasts so long, you know? It lasts longer than like 15 minutes, you know? Apparently for them. Bro, the fights for me never last, like some of them don't even last longer than like 15 minutes, bro. They last pretty fucking damn short. That is also true.
remotely pay attention to the game, you're going to realize that it has all the cues that you need for you to understand what you need to do and how far you are from destroying a monster. There is literally no reason for a health
that's
bar
true.
other than one simple fact.
Bro, it's a lot easier to tell when a monster is ready to be capturable or when a monster's ready to be killed, you know, or when they're about to die, you know? It's pretty freaking easy now these days. Back in the older games, it was a lot more difficult, to be honest. Journalists has always been fraud gamers. They're true. They've always been fraud gamers. I feel like they just kind of, I feel like these are people who like journalists who like can't get into the actual news article stuff, and then they decided to join like the gamer stuff, but they don't know how to play games and everything. And that's pretty much it.
That's laziness. It's pure laziness from the player who doesn't want to get involved in understanding the game mechanics and looking at cues and seeing, oh, okay, the monster isn't able to use some of its abilities anymore. Oh, maybe some parts fell off. Oh, look at it. It's struggling to walk around now. It's clearly hurting. There are things that show you how far into the fight you
Oh, yeah,
are.
the Cuphead situation. Man, that shit was pretty sad to see that.
Just like they always do. Veteran players of Monster Hunter franchise may be familiar with mods like this for previous games, but if you're new, you might be wondering why you can't see monsters' HP. The lack of visibility can make it difficult to tell which weapons and combos work best for you. That is retarded.
What are you talking about?
Retarded. What are you talking about? I don't... My God, man. I really wonder if these people genuinely play games. I really do. Which is especially frustrating if you haven't played a Monster Hunter game before. I can understand there's people out there that haven't played Monster Hunter before. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, you want to learn how to play the game so that when you party up with other people, you're not the odd man out who can't understand certain mechanics or certain things to look out for because you're too busy having a mod tell you all the information and hope that that can tell you everything you need during the fight. It's ridiculous, man. You guys are so freaking...
What the fuck are you talking about? We don't fucking use no goddamn fucking mod or so to tell how much HP it has. Fuck you. Fuck your ass. I'll yeet you out of here in a second.
To play a Monster Hunter game where you literally hunt monsters and you want to take away one of the best parts of the hunting mechanics, which is to understand when or how the enemy is going to potentially be destroyed based off how they are acting and responding to the damage that you do. It's ridiculous, bro. Anyway, One modder, Green Comfy Tea on Nexus Mods, created a tweak
True.
that adds a
True.
basic, no frills health bar showing current and total HP under each monster's name. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. As the mod creator warns, this is a bare bone mod without convenient in-game customization menu, optimizations, localization support, and other cool features made to be released in the shortest time possible. There will be no updates. The mod creator also noted that you need RE Framework nightly installed for it to work. If you're new to modding RE Engine games, I recommend checking out a guide first to learn your way around before installing this mod. You also want to keep in mind that Capcom's official stance on mods isn't exactly warm and fuzzy. Back in 2023, Capcom claimed mods are no different than cheating in an R&D presentation. And listen, for an online game, they may have a point, right?
Yeah.
For a single player game, obviously not. But for an online game where there are other players with you, you are inherently having an advantage over others by
That would be
showcasing
pretty
health
funny if
other
you can
people
actually
don't
pick up
have.
the health
Granted,
bar.
you're all going after the same goal, but still, you guys, this is not something that is welcomed by Capcom. Capcom has banned people in the past for this stuff. You really don't want to mess with this kind of stuff. And it's amazing to me that PC Gamer is actually trying to tell new players, hey, go install this mod. This is something you might want. Go install it. What are you doing? Many gamers would probably disagree with that view. Oh, we do. But if you want to play it safe and get a feel for the game without a health bar, you can always try to keep an eye on your weapon damage to gauge what works and how you're performing in combat. You can even adjust how your attack damage shows up by going into options, then game settings, and scrolling down to weapon attack power display. Why couldn't you just say this? I don't understand. You talk about this mod, you talk about the health bar, you talk about all this stuff that you know a lot of people are going to disagree with, and you're like, hey, there's this thing that you could do in-game that every other player does that can do almost the same thing. Why don't you do that instead and save yourself getting banned for putting a mod in a Capcom game? It's ridiculous, man. As some players have pointed out with previous Monster Hunter games, the lack of a health bar for the monsters is supposed to make hunts more realistic and immersive, which is also something to consider. Of course, there are plenty of... What do you mean something to consider? It is what to consider. What the I can't with these people. What do you mean something to consider? That is literally the point of the Monster Hunter games. It's the thrill of the hunt. Why would you want a health bar? It completely ruins the immersive experience of hunting monsters. What's wrong with you?
Oh my god, dude. Honestly, like, that's literally the whole point. It's literally called Monster Hunter. You know, not Monster Hunter. Show me your HP bar so I know when you're dead.
Of course, there are plenty of reasons a player might find it more helpful to their gameplay to be able to see how much health monsters have remaining. It just depends on your priorities and playstyle.
What do you mean by priorities is playstyle, bro? Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. I swear, if I see any of y'all motherfuckers putting in this goddamn health bar, I'm about to smack every single one of you.
Regardless of whether or not you decide to try modding Wilds, it's nice that there are options so everyone can have a good time with the game, at least as good as the time you can have, considering its slew of graphics and performance issues. This person, whoever wrote this, makes no damn sense. So you openly talk about the options that are available to you in-game to give you exactly what you're looking for the most part. But then at the start of your article, you're like, hey, install this mod if you're a new player because we think that this is going to be good for new players.
No, it's not good for new players. How dare you? How dare this person say that, dude? How dare they? Look, as much as like I'm not a huge fan of Monster Hunter Wilds, right? I don't approve with the HP bar mod. If you fucking install this goddamn mod, I'm about to fucking slap all the shit out of you, you know? And I'm gonna take away your Monster Hunter license from you, and you're never gonna call yourself a hunter or a fiver ever again. You lose all reputation immediately. There's a practice area to find out your DPS for a reason. That's true. There is the training area where you can see how much DPS you're doing. Or while you're doing it in an actual hunt, you just pay attention, like your numbers. That's what I usually do. I usually just do it in practice, like an actual practical situation. You know, I look at the numbers or something and be like, okay, so this is how much DPS I'm doing. This is how fast I'm killing the monster. Okay, so then I can change this. I can adjust that and do all this other stuff. You know.
First off, it's not going to be good for new players because it's not teaching them the mechanics. It's going to make them lazy players.
True.
And number two, you could potentially get them in trouble with Capcom and get them banned and get their account
True.
fucked with, all because you want to write an article telling them there's a health bar mod that they should install. It's absolutely insane, man. I don't really know what is up with these journalists, but we need to have them stop pretending like they play games at this point, because you guys are giving bad fucking information and bad ideas to gamers that should learn how to play Monster Hunter games the way they were meant to be played. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video.
Yep, that's true. That's 100% true. That is 100% facts, man. Ay. Honestly, that's crazy. I had never expected to see a journalist making a article or so to be like, hey guys, you should download this mod so you can see the monster's HP. It makes life easier. I'm like, bruh, the game is already easy as it needs to be. Now you're just going down into retardation level of easy. It's like it's crazy. It's like crazy. Like, you don't need to do that. There's so many like ways to find out that a monster is like basically ready to be either capturable or being slain. You know, like there's literally so many like ways for you to find out. You know, in the older games it wasn't like that. You have to visually look at the monster to see it when it's like ready or so, before it limps and before it disappears to go rest in its area. You know, like you have to visually see it, because sometimes I would accidentally kill it, because sometimes some of the monsters are super stubborn and they don't start limping, or they don't like, they're either like super aggro on you, right? And then they don't go away or anything like that. I've had that happen a few times with me, right? It happened in World, and it happened quite a lot or so in the PSP era, and it happened a few times that I would accidentally kill the monster, and I was trying to learn how to capture the monster, and some of the times it was kind of hard to tell, right? So it took me an actual like a good amount of tries until I started visually looking at the monster specifically, and you can tell by like when the scales are peeled off, or when or like parts of the claws or the horns, depending on the monster itself, like Rathian or so, like some of the wing spikes or so actually break off and everything like that. Parts of their like the little horn or the little back horn stuff break off too as well. A piece of their scales actually shows a fleshy part or so on their left side or their right side. I don't remember which is which, but that's what usually is what you have to pay attention to, of like that sort of thing. And then once after a while you stop, and then you have to wait for the monster to register that, you know, they're pretty much about to die, and then they go limp away, or then after that they fly away to their place, and then they go to bed, and that's pretty much it. So that's how it usually was back then. Like back then it was different or so. Today now it's easier. It's just very easy. Ko killed monsters in Rise. Totally not me. Yes, you did. You fucking killed them. Go explain Monster Hunter while it sounds like math equation to old uncle. Kick W. The real journalist would play the whole game and say its opinion, not like this. I played the whole entire game. I can say my own opinion about the game itself. Personally, as an old player, I think the game is okay. I don't personally like it. I think it's probably one of my least favorite Monster Hunter games. But I know for new players, they'll love it, you know? New players will love it, which is fine by me. I have no problem with it whatsoever, you know? They got their Monster Hunter game, right? For me, I have other Monster Hunter games if I want to play other Monster Hunter games, so it's not the end of the world for me, so. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. And yeah, I don't want to see any of you guys fucking installing no health mod, alright? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see any of it. But anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace.